Shalom Akim, all praises and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim, Kakadash. Double honor to the apostles of the great millstone. Salutation to you, Akim, doing the work in truth and in sincerity. Now, it's only been a week since the BRICS nations announced them ditching the dollar, and a lot of stuff has happened. So I'm gonna go ahead and start playing. I want to start off with this news clip from Africa News, and get into a few other clips after this. So let me go ahead and get started.
Implications of this move to African economies.
The US dollar has been the official reserve currency of the world since 1944, when the decision was made by a delegation from 44 allied countries called the Bretton Woods Agreement. The decision effectively gave the US dollar dominance in global markets as it became the currency used for trading oil and other commodities. However, not everyone likes playing by US rules, and countries like Russia and China, who are highly vulnerable to Western sanctions that weaponize the US dollar, are keen to bring a halt to the dollar hegemony. It is against this backdrop that the BRICS collective, comprising Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, is working on a common currency in an attempt to ditch the US dollar and push back against America's dominance. These countries argue that the de-dollarization process, as it is called, would reduce other countries' dependence on the US dollar and minimize exposure to currency fluctuations and interest rates changes. This would in turn mitigate the impact of economic and political changes in the US on their own economies, in addition to improving economic stability and reducing the risk of financial crisis. If the BRICS nations successfully establish a new currency, some analysts say this could help stabilize their economies. For an investor in BRICS countries, it would mean increased consumer confidence that would also lead to an uptick in spending and economic growth.
So you heard that, they're stabilizing their economies by ditching the dollar because the dollar is crashing. Is basically in layman's terms. But at the same time, while they stabilize their economies by ditching the dollar, it makes America's economy fall. Now, like I said, since then, this has been happening. U.S. government banking system resilient support for First Republic Republic proof. Basically, I wanted to go down to this right here. The collapse of Silicon Bank last week raises questions about what else might be lurking in a wider system. Because basically this was they say that poor banking practices made Silicon Valley Bank collapse. No, it's because the dollar is falling rapidly now. Utterly irresponsible Silicon Valley Bank failure was caused by a banking non-tech crisis, top VC says. And right here, these is all calls from one announcement last week. And of course, they've been filling the airways with Trump going to jail and all this other stuff. And it's like that's the big distraction. Anytime they flood the airways with something like that, they're distracting you from what's really going on. And what's really going on is a lot of bank crashes. This article I also pulled up. Warren Buffett dumped several banks after spotting red flags in their financials. Here's what spooked him and which stocks he sold. And what's really spooking Warren Buffett? Hey, the thing that's spooking him is these BRICS nations ditching the dollar. Basically, all the other nations are ditching the dollar. Because when the BRICS nations did it, it seems like it wasn't a big deal. However, other nations are starting to follow suit. Like I said, it's been a week since they announced it now, since they officially announced it, because it's been going on for a couple years. They've been planning it for years. And this is basically what's happening since they announced it, since it became official. So several smaller banks have already crashed. You know, the Silicon Valley Bank was supposed to be one of the larger banks, and it's crashed. You know, it's collapsed. And of course, I'm going to show the national debt clock, which is over 31 trillion in debt now. Hey, that thick clay is real, man. Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 6, shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increases that which is not his, how long, and to him that laden himself with thick clay. Clay, that thick clay is debt. That's the thick clay. And woe to him that increases that which is not his. The thing about that is they've been taking over lands across seas ever since the dollar has got into power. You know, these lands are other people's lands. They got, what is it now? It's over 740 or 50 military bases worldwide, because they're putting 4 new military bases in the Philippines now. Now we didn't see the national debt clock, and we didn't read about the thick clay. Woe to him that increases that which is not his. And this is why the BRICS was formed in the first place. It started kind of when the Syrian war, basically when they took out Gaddafi and Saddam Hussein. It started way back then. And this is one of the bigger points. This is Revelations 18:4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers in her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. Come out of this way of thinking. Come out of this American way of thinking, man. That you be not part of her plagues. And we know that 2/3 of Jake is not going to come out of this. This is for the elect. Come out of the way of thinking, because, hey, shit's finna get thick. Shit's finna get thick real quick now, you know. Because ever since this announcement, they've been ramping up the cashless society jargon. So, hey, it's coming, you know. It's coming faster than you think, you know. And that is, of course, leading to, you know, World War III. Which, of course, we already know is not going to get started till the cashless society thing, which probably will happen this year. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Ratazah will happen this year, you know. Why? Because the faster that this MO to the TB comes, the faster we out of here. So Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Ratazah, it happens this year, you know. And that's what it's looking like. Now, I want to play a clip from this news network, CNA News Network, and show you what's going on over here, to just so you know that it's not all BS.
The Philippines has identified the 4 new military bases that it will be giving U.S. troops access to. At least one of them will face the South China Sea, paving the way for a greater American presence in key locations in the region. Beijing, angered by the move, has accused the U.S. of fueling tensions. It has warned other countries to be vigilant against being used by Washington.
The 4 new military bases that will be used by American forces will be scattered around the Philippines. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. says the expanded access will include sites close to Taiwan and in Palawan province near the South China Sea. This will effectively give the United States a front row seat to China's activities in the region. Manila says the decision to allow a larger U.S. military presence is vital to territorial defense, especially along the main Luzon Island's eastern coast.
I am aware that the emerging threat to our territory and our emphasis on addressing this threat requires adjustment in our strategy. The external security environment is becoming more complex, it is becoming more unpredictable.
The Marcos administration earlier announced that it would allow rotating batches of American forces to indefinitely stay in 4 more Philippine military camps. The U.S. secured the access to more sites in the region last month, enraging China, who has repeatedly accused Washington of trying to encircle and contain Beijing.
国家间的防务安全合作应当有利于地区和平稳定，不应针对第三方或损害第三方利益。美方出于一己私利，抱持零和思维，不断在本地区加强军事部署，是在加剧局势紧张，危害地区和平稳定。地区国家应当对此保持警惕，避免被美果执利用。
The U.S. and the Philippines are expected to hold joint patrols and military drills next month, and their top defense officials will be meeting for talks in Washington in mid-April.
There you got it. You know, so this happened this happened about a month ago, in preparations for what was coming, which is the BRICS nations' announcement to ditch the dollar, and the following of the other nations. And right now, just like the Chinese president said, hey, they're trying to surround China. They're also making moves to surround Russia. Why? Because that third woe is on the way. This is Revelations 11 and 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. And all of this is in preparation for the next world war. It's on the way. It's coming, you know.
At least one of them.
So, you know, I'm going to end it right there. Hey, these banks are falling quick. The U.S. is setting up more military bases surrounding China and Russia, so they can basically prepare to go to instead of a proxy war, this war is going to turn real. Now, I don't know when it's going to turn real, you know, into a United States versus the other countries war. However, they still trying to set up bases and pretend that these other countries are going against Russia and China. No. We're about to go into the next world war. And of course, the MOTB is going to be launched sometime soon while they're scrambling to get this cashless society thing going. So, with that, I'm going to say Shalom. All praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Makakadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. Salutations to you, Akim, doing the work in truth and sincerity. Hey, you brothers stay strong. We almost out of here, and we're about to come to one of the roughest patches of salvation soon. With that, Shalom.